Welcome back to another edition of Rake, your position where four lifelong friends are trying to live out their dreams from the comfort of their chairs. I'm Aaron, the host, and we are with you at a special time as we prepare for the first
Hockey
ever
season.
postseason of Rake Your Position. Let's get rolling. Who else we got here?
You got Joe the groundskeeper here. I went to the Cardinal game on Saturday, pulled out the W. It was also apparently dressed like a seat night. I missed that memo.
Oh, I get it. Because no one showed up. I'm Jay Lee the Rover. It's playoff time.
Playoff.
And
waiting
I'm
for it.
Corey the stat man. It's also pretty much hockey season for me. So
Corey's forgoing football season as well. He's just going straight to hockey.
Hey, I'm going to throw us a curveball here, just like we always do. We talk about the agenda before we get on here, but listening to last week's pod, I have to say, even though you duped us into what you were wanting about Andrew Jones, you're a Hall of Famer. But what we really want is Aaron to just stop bothering us about it. So put him in the hall already.
Fair enough. I won't talk about him again today. Yeah, dude, that was a great bait and switch. I had you guys eating that Trout Griffey combo. That was great. I had a good time, so I appreciate you guys putting up with me. I don't want to talk about the Braves too much and be a homer, but they've been the best team in baseball, and that was appropriate. So as we wrap up our first season, we're going to preview the wild card race, all the in-season highlights and all that fun stuff, and finalizing the award conversation. We're going to handle all that once the World Series is over and have some fun with that during the off season. So our schedule going forward, instead of our weekly Wednesday night recording times, we're going to try to fit a pod in between each round. So here we are, Monday night recording, getting ready for 3-game wildcard sets that start tomorrow, that hopefully this will be edited, produced, and dropped by our wonderful staff before those games start, which they probably start at like noon. So it's probably not going to happen, but I'm going to try our staff's going to try really hard. And then our
first game's at 2:00.
Oh, okay. There we go. Then our plan is to get another recorded pod in between the wild card round and the division series round, and prepare for those upcoming series. So that's our plan, guys, as we go forward. Corey, what do you got for us?
well, I know a lot of our moms probably don't know all the teams that are in the playoffs. So I'm going to go ahead and
That's
just
quite true.
clue everybody in on who's there, who's not. Add a little bit of flavor to it.
We're going to talk about all the teams that didn't make it.
There will be a little bit of about the teams that didn't make it, because there's some certain things that were said at the beginning of the year that I would like to bring up, because I keep the receipts. 'Cause I'm the one who keeps notes. Oh, Aaron's, I think, getting his violin, and I don't think anybody wants to hear that. I think I've tried to play that violin. Anyway.
Oh, boy.
Out of the East, we had the Orioles make they've been in first for a while, but they had quite the mountain to overcome with the Rays hot start, taking first in the East. Go ahead.
I'm waiting for you to say Chicago.
Okay, well, maybe I won't say anything, because they were not predicted to win anything at the beginning of the year.
But they were sure really close last week.
Well, they had a 92.4% playoff chance.
That's
September
a high percentage
6th.
not to make it.
Yeah, it sure is. Here we go. Go ahead.
Spoiler alert.
Talked about
Sorry.
it. We talked about it. Go ahead. 92.4. Now it's down to 0. It's not going to pick that up.
How bad is this going to sound?
It's not going to sound at all. It's only for Aaron. All right. So the Orioles taking the East. The Minnesota Twins took the Central, which nobody wanted. And this is not updated. Hold on. Those two things are still correct. The Astros took the West. I know, but it still had. I think I had refreshed the page from last week. The Astros took the West after the Rangers led for almost the entire year. And just to kind of come back to this. 3 of us did pick the Astros to win the West. None of us picked the Twins to win the Central. The person who didn't pick the Astros was Joe. So, Jared somehow
I did. That's weird.
He still did pick the Astros to win the West. And then the East, we had 2 for the Blue Jays and 2 for the Yankees. So great job, everybody. A few of us.
I'm looking back at my
Astros.
predictions. Holy smokes!
We don't need to look at mine.
The wild card's not much better, but we'll get to that. I'm gonna cover the NL division winners here, which in the East, obviously, you guys have heard plenty about it, but let me tell you, it is only a small percentage of what we've heard about it. The Atlanta Braves. In the Central, we got the Brewers taking the crown there, which, by the way, we were 4 for 4 on predictions for the Cardinals, who got, let me check, dead last.
No, keep scrolling. They're there.
Where's the violin for that one?
We know.
And
violin played in May, dude.
Yeah, that sucker's been played out.
Somehow, and I'm still not sure why or how this happened, none of us picked the Dodgers to win the West either. We had 3 for the Padres and 1 for the Diamondbacks.
Mine made the playoffs at least.
Lol.
That's true. I did not pick the Braves to win the East. The rest of you guys did. I picked the Phillies, which, you know what? They're a 90-win team. I'm not upset about that. It's a lot better than most of my other predictions were. And anyway, taking a look at the wild card, we had the AL East leading for a lot of the year, Tampa Bay Rays in the first spot. The AL West leading for a lot of the year, Texas Rangers in the second spot. And the Blue Jays sneaking in right above the Mariners in the third spot. So those 3 teams will be going up against now the Twins. Those are the 4 AL teams in our matchups we're about to talk about. As far as what we predicted for the wild card, few Blue Jays, few Orioles. Again, there's some Yankees. 3 of us had the Angels. Oopsie daisy.
Who had that?
We were hedging that a lot, though. We were like, we're voting for the Angels because we want this to happen, but we really don't think it's going to happen. So
everybody but Jared had the Angels.
Credit.
Jared, you actually had the Blue Jays and the Orioles, which are 2 teams in the playoffs. And then you had the Mariners, which were right there. So that was pretty good.
Nice. Let's talk about the AL before we jump over to the NL. Just
okay.
Overarching thoughts. Curious what you guys thought. Surprises, disappointments, intrigue.
I mean, I know we had talked about like hedging our bets with the Angels, but like on paper they should have been in the playoffs. Like we can say that all we want, like we wanted them to be in it, but realistically, like they had the team to do it and they failed. So whether that's the manager, which they just fired, or obviously people around the 2 most iconic players in the league right now just not performing. So I don't know. That was probably my biggest surprise is they should be there. So
yeah, I mean, I would say Shohei and Trout played well. Didn't play a whole season. They usually don't. And when they were on the field together, they were electric, and they would find ways to lose 12-11. You know, and they tried. Like they kept bringing people in all off season last year, early this year, trade deadline. They kept trying, but rest in peace.
Amen.
What do you got, Joe? High level thoughts for AL.
High level thoughts and low level IQ. So, you know, like Baltimore being as good as they have, their young guys came out and did well. So I guess kind of same with Tampa Bay because they're always rolling out new young guys. So my AL East was like pretty much flipped from my predictions. Cleveland did not take the division by 15 games.
Did they lose it by 15? What's the final? Anybody got that in front of you?
I think it was 10.
Oh,
bad.
Yeah. Oh no, 11 games.
It's almost.
I got third. Oh my gosh.
And then I didn't remember putting Seattle in first in my predictions, but I was kind of sad that they didn't get in. As I was writing out my notes, I put them in, and I had 13 teams. I'm like, why do I have an extra team? And I had to go back. I'm like, oh, they didn't make it. I was kind of cheering for them there at the end, but didn't happen.
I saw a stat, and I don't know the exact thing off my head. Should have kept it, but Seattle talking about like how they've been eliminated in like the last weekend, like 8 out of the last 10 years, something like that. Just like been so close. Active GM, lots of young talent. Expect them to be in the conversation a lot going forward, but can they finally get to the top? Because they're fun to watch.
Fun to watch, and I think they obviously have their cornerstone piece in J-Rod, and then I think an ace for a while in Luis Castillo. So good pieces to build around. I mean, like you said, they've been there multiple years now.
Yep. I'm with Joe a little bit here that I think just the Central was bad and disappointing and not good baseball. If you look at the AL standings as a whole, there are 3 Central teams in the lowest 5. If you want to even go up, the Tigers are the 6th lowest. So 4 of the 6, besides the Twins, are at the bottom there. Again, same. The Orioles just kind of came out. I saw a stat, and I'm quickly trying to look it up here, but cost per win. So opening day payroll per win. The Orioles are first with $603,000 in payroll per win. Rays are second. Pirates third. Reds fourth. Marlins fifth. 30th, I'm sure to nobody's surprise, New York Mets, $4.5 million per win, which is $1.2 million more than the 29th place New York Yankees. So great job, New York. Padres, White Sox, Rockies. Gosh, why are you paying people so much?
They're paying Arenado still.
That's true. But
they didn't win that many.
That's true. Nolan Jones was great, though.
Yeah.
Shout out Nolan Jones. But I mean, the Orioles, great year. The Rays, even when you don't think they're going to do it, they do it. So I don't know if anybody has any closing thoughts on the AL before we switch over to get to the NL wildcard teams here.
I think obviously I would think we could also say outside of the Angels, the biggest surprise is just the East. Like no one expected the Orioles to win the division, especially win 100 games.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
And the Yankees to
Fun
be
team.
What, 4th? Is that where they finished?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They passed the Red Sox last week.
Yes. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, the Yankees are still above 500. They're 82 and 80. It's just a good division, but yeah, the Baltimore certainly made themselves known, and I imagine that all the other teams in that division are not feeling great about the years to come. So the final 3 teams in the NL, the Philadelphia Phillies taking the first wildcard spot, the Miami Marlins taking the second one, and the Arizona Diamondbacks taking the third. A lot of Mets in our wild card prediction, which we just mentioned. They did not do well. Some Padres. Actually, as far as we got a lot of Dodgers showing up here. But we also know the NL a little bit better, or pay attention a little bit more. But if I may, to start off our NL discussion, I mean, I could turn it around and say the Central again was about as backwards as we thought it could have been. I mean, the Brewers, I think, towards the top, but then 2 through 5, the Cubs, as much as they broke my heart, still made me feel a little bit good. The last 3 weeks collapse, and the thing that hurt me the most, I think, was that they were losing games. No, it was the Rockies, or just like other garbage like that. But they're losing games, like extra inning games, and it was close. Like if they just the 1-run games these past 3 weeks, if they just been a little bit switched, we'd be in a very different scenario than what we are now. But the Reds, really fun and exciting. The Pirates had a really good run for a little, and then those birds on the bat might have flipped over to the other side and just kind of dangling there. But obviously not something.
The St. Louis dead birds.
Yeah, not something any of us expected. So that was kind of the big shock there for me, was just how the Central shook out.
Yeah, as I was looking at the playoff picture, I'm like, how could the Cardinals not be one of the 12 best teams in the league? But obviously they weren't. They weren't one of the top 20 teams in the league. So that was pretty sad.
Pitching.
How do the Mets not be one of the top 12 teams in the league? Unbelievable. Same with San Diego. As I look at kind of my beginning season predictions, I guess that's my high level thoughts. Next.
Go for it, Jared.
Oh no, I like to think that when your GM says your pitching staff is just fine, and you're looking across and your best potential pitcher is a guy who's on his way out the door at 42 years old. Yeah, I don't think you're going to win that division. But to say that they would finish last, I mean, that was a stretch. But I think it kind of proves to you how good pitching has to be to make it. So I think, yeah, we all thought the Cardinals, obviously we all picked them. We all thought they were going to win the division. To move on. I didn't expect the Braves to be as good as they were, but here we are. Don't ask me why. I just didn't think they would be that as dominant, but I think they were dominating on all cylinders. So I think that's what I mean by that is hitting, base running, pitching, defense. Like I don't see a weakness, which is scary.
Yeah, I can't remember. We had 3 Padres, right? Is that what you said? And 1 Diamondback. I know a lot of us at the beginning, we knew the Dodgers were thin in a few spots at the beginning of the year. And so we thought they would just kind of fall behind and still make the playoffs. And then I think we thought they would do fine in the playoffs. We knew they'd be there, just they were going to have to add some pieces and be behind. And then they just kept rolling. And you look at them and they're very top heavy this year, but it's so good. And they're rolling out young pitcher after young pitcher. And you look at every team stat, the Padres are at the top, and then you look at the record, it's like, how is this even possible? It's the weirdest season I've ever seen. So I mean, are they going to be? They'll be favorites again next year to be, the second best team in the West, barring drastic changes, which it sounds like they're going after Soto. So I don't think they're tearing it down. I don't think. So yeah, it was quite a strange season. With the big markets of New York Mets and San Diego not performing.
Yeah, interesting what you're talking about. Kind of, there were 2 teams, the Marlins and the Diamondbacks, who are making the playoffs with a negative run differential. In the NL, all of the teams in the AL have a positive, and then the Mariners just missed out, have a positive run differential. You have the Cubs that had a positive run differential, just missing out by a game, and then the Padres, who had the 3rd best run differential in the National League. Yeah. So it is.
I don't know. We can go back and check those April pods too. I believe somebody said, "Hey, watch out for the Marlins," and somebody else was pretty high on the Diamondbacks pretty early on this year. I can't remember, but someone might be able to toot their own horn if they wanted to, but it's not the place for that.
You must be thinking of a different podcast.
Was it? Oh, okay. Well, this one. Okay.
But
awesome.
Now that we know who's there, who's at the dance, let's do some dancing.
You want to do some dancing?
Takes 8 to tango.
Takes 8 to tango, right?
That's what I've heard.
So yeah, we're gonna dive into some of the first few matchups here. And guys, the cool thing about playoffs is what?
Regular season doesn't matter.
Good answer. Anybody else?
What you guys saying? The hot hand gets the
hot hand gets cold. Is my saying. Yeah, the hot hand though, the parody of MLB baseball is why I think it's the best overall postseason.
Man, we were on 2 different wavelengths. I didn't think you guys were going to give me legit answers, so that kind of threw off my game there. But yeah, no, the cool thing about baseball playoffs is exactly that. Like, it's anybody's ball game now. You just have to get into the dance. To your point, there's not any other league, I think, that when you look at it, like, okay, this team can figure it out. Like, if you're hot in baseball, that's all that matters. So we're going to break down the Blue Jays at Twins. I was lucky enough to get this matchup without really knowing any of the teams, so I tried to do a little bit of research right here on the pod. Did not know this, but Carlos Correa been hurt the last 2 weeks, and he's playing, but won't be 100%. So that could be dividends there.
I wonder what could possibly be wrong with him. If only somebody knew that he had an injury history.
Was it the fact that he signed with 4 different teams this offseason?
Yeah, that might have.
He's still jet lagged.
I don't think he's ever going to be 100%.
Still jet lagged. But yeah, I would say weird to see the Twins, probably for Joe, because he did not have this team winning by 15 games. But it's going to be a cool first matchup. I believe it's Kevin Gausman versus Pablo Lopez, which could be a pretty good matchup there. But I don't know. We're going to go around the horn and pick our matchups here, but I'm excited to see the Blue Jays in it because of all the young talent that they have. And I think when they're firing on all cylinders, they're probably one of the most exciting teams to watch with Guerrero Jr., Bichette, and all those guys. But so if we're going to jump right into it, your boy is taking the Blue Jays. Corey, what about you?
Yeah, I don't like any of the Central teams, as I made that known. I just don't think they're very good. I mean, I think the pitching matches up pretty well. But again, I mean, we've talked about it about, if the Blue Jays snuck in, they're a very scary team to have to beat more often than not. When you've got Gossman, Barrios, and Bassett, and Barrios has had his ups and downs, but I think he can throw a gem every now and then. I think we might have thought Manoah might have been there, but didn't seem like it was quite his year. But I would say I think the Blue Jays have a little bit more nitrous in their offense than the Twins do, even if the pitching is about the same for me. So I like the Blue Jays as well.
Joe, who you got?
So yeah, I was tempted to go Minnesota here.
But then what happened?
What happened was like literally about 1 minute ago, I realized I think a flaw in my decision. So basically what I did for this is I just looked up WHIP and OPS for everybody. I looked at season and I looked at the last 30 games to kind of see who was hot. And Minnesota's far and away better, but then I realized Toronto's played in the AL East and Minnesota has played in the AL Central, right? So the Jays ended up with a better record playing probably a lot tougher games. So it kind of swung me back to the Jays. And then I just looked at the Jays and I realized Brandon Belt, who I thought had retired a decade ago, is their best hitter. So I am going to go with the Twins in this division series or this wild card series.
Oh, what a roller coaster.
Have it going every which direction. Oh, man.
Wait, so you picked the Twins?
Yeah, Twins. I might be following Joe on this. I've gone back and forth, and then I just followed Joe on all that roller coaster ride.
Words that should never be said.
I know. This can't make sense of Joe because I've been high on the Blue Jays. I think the Blue Jays have better depth, a higher floor, and so in a longer series, their rotation looks better. But you throw Gray and Lopez, and you only got to win 2 out of 3, and you're at home.
Oh, plane ride for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, long flights out of Toronto, I hear.
Just make some more groans. I bet everybody wants to hear that.
Twins. Gosh, I don't like it. I'll go with Twins.
All right.
Real quick,
guys are anymore.
I know. I won't pick the Blue Jays as one of my World Series teams later.
The 2 pitchers the Cardinals sent to the Blue Jays, Genesis Cabrera, awful, 5.1 walks per 9 with the Cardinals, down to 2.3, 23 innings with the Jays, 2.6 ERA, 0.9 WHIP, amazing. Jordan Hicks, 5.2 walks per 9. Cardinals, awful. 24 innings with the Jays. Down to 3 walks per 9, 1.0 whip.
Those are pretty good pitchers.
And I think we just signed our pitching coach to a 42-year extension because he's so good.
The Blue Jays pen is going to be good with those two pitching better. Romano's healthy. And probably Kikuchi or one of those extra starters in the pen. But I'm going Twins.
Final answer?
Final answer.
All you did was talk about how good the Blue Jays were.
I know.
Well, let's both take the Twins.
If it was a 5 or 7 game set, Blue Jays all day. But I think the Twins can win 2 out of 3 at home with Duran closing.
Duran?
Johan Duran.
That's his walkout song.
Nice. It better be.
Duran.
Thanks for that message, Joe. So going to the next few games here, we got the D-backs at the Brew Crew. And Corey, we got some breaking news about the Brew Crew. You want to give us that info?
Yeah, they've officially changed their name to the Utter Tuggers. For the
playoff Tuggers?
Run. Yeah.
No, not.
Oh,
sorry. The other memo I sent you.
Not Chuggers, yes. Tuggers. Oh, I got a side stitch.
Braden Woodruff is out for this series and probably longer, but they are refusing to really acknowledge that. It sounds like he has blown out his shoulder.
Hard chugging utters.
Yeah, he was utter chugging too hard, which will get everybody these days. But that's a big hit. I mean, when you similar, like if you, especially in this series, I think if it went to 3 games, the Brewers have 3 very good pitchers, including Woodruff. They still have 2 very good pitchers, so they could win 2 games. But
yeah, so I think it'll be a good 1-2 versus 1-2 with Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly versus Burns, and I mean they still got Peralta too, so be interesting there to kind of see what happens there. I think the Brewers probably still have a stronger bullpen. But I mean, the Diamondbacks were a team that I know one of us on here wanted to get into the playoffs. Yeah, too. But I mean, it's always good to see a team that was once not so good make it into the playoffs. And I mean, they have Rookie of the Year and Carroll. So exciting to see players like that get in. That can add excitement to the game. And like I said, you get in, you can see what happens. And I do forget that they have a veteran presence in Longoria there. Like I forget when I look at the roster of the D-backs, I'm like, oh, I forget that guy's still playing. Also, the Diamondbacks have a pretty solid catcher of their own in Moreno. So like,
Cannon.
So I know we talk about the Adleys and all the other catchers, but dude can play. And Christian Walker's playing like a pretty solid first baseman. Ketel Marte seems to be playing better. So I don't know. It could be a pretty interesting series. And then on the other side of it, another pretty solid catcher getting his chance in the Contreras brother, William. So, I mean, he's a cornerstone of that offense in Milwaukee. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. So with that being said, we're going to go around the room again and pick these teams. The team I have underlined is that team from Arizona. I'm gonna pick was that Joe? Are those fangs?
Yeah.
Nice. I can't wait for the viewers to see the.
That reminds me of Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm gonna go Arizona. Corey, who are you going with?
Well, you're wrong. It's the Brewers.
That's a harsh segue.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, the Brewers might have had the best pitching staff out of every team of plate pitchers that were healthy. Let me preface that because I know somebody might tell me about all these great pitchers, but there's a few of them that aren't healthy in Atlanta. But I think in which now Woodruff's not healthy, so never. I mean, Peralta's very good. Burns is very good. Devin Williams is very good. And they have set up guys that are kind of getting established. Uribe, Hobie Milner is really good from the left side. Funky delivery from the left side. Great guy if you need a lefty out, which could could be very valuable in a short series. So I just think their offense is maybe not quite up to par with the D-backs, but it's pretty good. So I'm gonna take the Brewers. Joe?
I think both these teams are a joke, but we'll talk about them here.
Well, you got to pick one.
I know. I'll pick one. So, I mean, I look at these lineups, and I mean, I guess there's a couple players you would take, but wow, talk about pretty trash. Diamondbacks, OPS 17th in the league, Milwaukee 23rd. D-backs 19th in the league in WHIP. They've gotten better in their last 30. It looks like they're 9th overall. But so I take it as kind of two trash lineups. So I look at the pitching, even with Woodruff being out, Milwaukee's bullpen. I mean, you get to Milwaukee's bullpen like 6, 7, 8, 9, and you're probably going to win. So, in my opinion, the battle of the two trash teams, I'm going to have Milwaukee come out. They've pitched most of the season without Woodruff anyway, and they had a little bit of a challenge in the Central, but really they were always in first. So they'll get by the Diamondbacks easy enough. Milwaukee.
I don't have their bullpen stats in front of me, but can you tell me besides Williams who they've got? Like I know I've seen Milner. He's come from the East. He's funky.
Yeah.
He can get lefties out, but he's weird. Bryce Wilson was setting up for them, and I know he's not anything special.
Abner Uribe is the guy now. I'm trying to pull his stats
So
up.
he's kind of the 8th inning guy.
Yeah, and I know he has done really well
Gotcha.
lately. Let me see if I can.
I mean, the Brewers are the worst offense in the playoffs. They've got two guys that are consistent hitters, Contreras and Yelich, but neither of them are superstars. Arizona, I mean, Christian Walker's been doing this for a couple years now. All around hitter, all around player. I think in a short series, I'm kind of my philosophy with the Twins. I think short series favors the Diamondbacks because I know they're starting the rookie game 1 because they had to use everybody. They couldn't rest anybody. And so I know Brandon Pfaadt is pitching game 1, which I assume that means he's going up against Burns. So that's Milwaukee winning game 1. But then game 2, you got Gallen and Kelly going against Peralta and Wade Miley, I would assume, is getting the start now. So if that's the case, I'll take Minnesota. I'll take Arizona winning games 2 and 3 and taking 2 out of 3 here.
There ain't no way you could not pick the Diamondbacks.
I guess that's a good question. I think our listeners would like to know: is this a best of 3 wild card?
Yeah, wild card's best of 3. It's all at the one stadium, so Milwaukee hosts all 3 of these games.
I'm even more glad I took Milwaukee. Are they get home team every game?
Yes.
Yes.
And do they? Let me guess. They get to start with a guy on second base every inning too.
Yep.
It moves every inning. You get third, and then you get second and third. Then you get first, second, and third.
Yeah.
The road team loses a pitcher every inning. You have to.
Yeah, and then you just get a home run
like
every
to a
inning.
Sniper or what?
Yeah. You have to pick one to sacrifice as tribute.
Yeah. Abner Uribe on the season. Yeah, he's 23, 30.2 innings pitched, 1.76 ERA, 39 strikeouts, 1.17 WHIP. So he's
Abner's done it again.
Yeah, I've heard about that guy.
Year. Yeah,
but the rest of the pen doesn't scare me, and I think Gallen Kelly got it over. It's my pick, Corey.
They got Andrew Chafin,
it is his pick.
I do love me some Andrew Chafin.
Yeah, so
but
I want the Brewers to win just to see Andrew Chafin win.
Is Corbin Carroll's a little lefty threat? Longoria, Pham, Walker, Marte's a switchy. So the lefties don't matter against Diamondbacks.
Okay. We'll see.
Yeah, Corey.
Yeah, I'm so dumb.
My pick.
Sorry.
All right, Joe. What else we got?
Well, jumping over to some games, I'm gonna overview for you.
Gotta go to the bathroom real quick though again.
No, I should be good. Just one moon hook down today. or at this time anyway. I guess so like I said, I ran through whip and OPS. I'll just kind of run through those real quick for this matchup. Tampa Bay first in whip on the season, fourth in OPS. Texas 12th in whip on the season, third in OPS. That's the first series we're going to look at. One thing that also stood out to me with this round was I thought I had the belch there, but I couldn't get it out. There it is.
There you go.
Was the and I didn't really look at the other series. I don't think it was as much of a discrepancy, but was the payroll discrepancy here. So Texas has, I believe, the highest payroll, or probably below the Mets, but of teams in the playoffs, Texas has the highest. Tampa Bay has the second lowest to Baltimore. And then with Philly and the Marlins, the Phillies have the second highest payroll of all teams in the playoffs, and the Marlins are third lowest. Which I know we'll talk about that here in a second. But what are you guys' thoughts on this Tampa Bay Texas series? I think.
Would you like to make your pick first?
Is that how we're doing this?
Yeah, we can do it however you want.
Okay. I mean, I would like to have an upset throughout this playoffs, but I don't really see it happening. Even in the last 30 games, Tampa Bay still top 10 in both, so they're staying.
Breach.
I mean, they're staying pretty hot. So, I have Tampa Bay winning the series.
Aaron, you want to go ahead?
Sure. I'm with you. Tampa, even with their injuries, the rotation still have a better rotation lined up. The Rangers are going to be relying on Montgomery for game one, possibly. Mm-hmm. Dane Dunning. I don't know who else they got going out there. The rotation after adding all these pieces hasn't held up in Texas. Yeah, they're going to score runs, but I'll take Tampa, and Tampa's at home to give them the edge.
Gary, you want me
Is
to
it
go?
me?
Or you can go. I don't care.
No, you go. I think we know who you're going to pick, but you go ahead.
I'm going to take the Rangers. Well, they've got Montgomery and Heaney, and then
yeah, but DeGrom's not pitching.
What?
I said DeGrom's not pitching. I don't know if that swayed your vote or not.
That's true. But they've got Montgomery and Evaldi game 1 and 2, and their offense is so good. And other than blowing the division lead,
yep, so good to get a wild card spot.
They've been pretty good lately. I just don't like the Rays.
Corey, in a matter of 2 seconds, you went from their offense is really good to they're pretty good.
Other than the
they blew the lead too, I'm picking them.
Seattle won 3 out of 4 games against the Rangers and missed the playoffs. I don't know how that math works, and I'm usually pretty good at it.
Yeah, you're the mathematician. You tell us.
You have a bone to pick about that, but that's not what we're talking about right now. I just think the Rangers are good, and I don't like the Rays. I've been saying it for 2 months. I don't think the Rays are as good as they seem they are. I've actually been saying it all year.
Let him be wrong, Jared. It's fine. Let him be wrong.
I'm going to take the
It's
Rangers.
his pick.
It's his pick. You're right. That's fair.
And Jared's going to pick the Rangers.
That down.
And I'm on the no. You done, Corey? Sorry, I didn't.
I am. Go ahead, please. You look very comfortable, by the way.
Dude, I'm chilling right now. I'm gonna pick a team that Corey doesn't think good, but won 99 games this year in a division that they probably weren't projected to win, with a team that they weren't projected to be this good. So that makes me think that they're even scarier. Is that no one thinks they're this good and they're still just winning games. So give me Tampa Bay.
Corey's hated Tampa Bay from before day one.
Yeah, I have.
It's true.
They cleaned out Wander Franco's locker today.
Oh,
so think about that. Would you? They said it's just because they needed the locker
Wander
space.
Where Franco's going.
Oh my gosh! Go to the next series.
Points.
Do we have all 4 predictions for that?
Yeah.
3 Tampa, 1 Texas.
Yes. In the eyes of the Ranger are upon you.
Well, our next series we have here. So looking at Marlins and the Phillies, I already talked about kind of the discrepancies in payrolls, but the discrepancy in statistics is kind of there as well. So Marlins finished 16th in WHIP, 19th in OPS. Philadelphia 7 and 6. Why are those my favorite stats? I don't know. They're my favorite stats, I guess, to determine. Other than my naked eye, which is the best determining factor of how good a team is, that's the two stats I normally use. I look at this Miami team and I think, wow, is this a joke? This team's in the playoffs. So, with that said, last 30 days they've both stayed similar to where they've been at for the season. So, anyway, I'm going with Philly.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is Sandy healthy or no?
He's pitching, I think.
I don't think he is.
I think he's on the
IL. I mean, I think he is on the team.
He's not supposed to start.
He didn't ask if he wasn't on the team.
They know he's there. They traded him over there for Ozuna.
He's hanging out with.
It's Luzardo, Garrett, and Edwards, right? Edward, who throws a 96 mile per hour changeup.
Yeah, I'm taking that deep.
Same.
Good luck.
No, I mean, like, that's what I throw as a 96 mile an hour changeup.
I'm going Marlins. Their lineup is just as good now with additions, especially with Luzardo and Braxton Garrett, I think, is the other guy that's pitching, right? Did I say that right? Two lefties. They have dominated the Phillies this year if you look at their stats. Schwarber's easy to strike out. So neutralize Harper. Yes.
Do you want to try?
I don't throw 97 left-handed like those guys do.
Kyle, come on.
For those guys, he's easy to strike out.
Kyle would be a fun person to have on here. I think.
Yeah,
probably a fun time.
It sounds like somebody's scared of Philadelphia moving on to the second round.
Oh, no. I'm going Marlins. I've never been that high on Philly. Nola's got a 4.6 ERA. You're going to have him going game 2.
Yeah.
You know what doesn't matter in the playoffs? Regular season ERA.
Playoffs.
Going Marlins.
You know I'm taking the Phillies. I love the Phillies. I picked them in the East. I think the Phillies are great. I think their offense is great. I think if you got Wheeler and Nola, I think Ranger Suarez is the guy going to the third game. They're not going to need it. So it doesn't even matter. But Phillies, easy game.
Yeah, I think there's a man on that team in Philadelphia that you don't ever bet against. And who is that man?
Real Muto.
Bryce Harper. Real Muto.
Bryce.
Christian Patchy.
Harper. If they win the whole thing,
he might, every time I can.
If they win the whole thing, Bryce Harper might throw every single helmet he has in the stands. But no,
let's hope Angel doesn't get any playoff games.
He's not He's not on the lineups right now.
Thank goodness. Whew. But yeah, no, I agree with Corey. I like Philly a lot. I think Trey Turner's coming around. And that bad man, Bryce Harper. It's tough to bet against him. So lock it in, Philly.
All right. Are we doing the next thing on the agenda, Mr. Groundskeeper?
We're
Oh
close.
yeah.
Are we doing it?
So I've had my leg crossed for about the last 7 minutes, and I got to get up to do this. So I'll talk while that baby gets unasleep because there's no feeling. So I think we can make this one pretty quick. But on this segment of Appreciate or Reinstate, and what this is we think about some things that used to be a part of the game. And do we appreciate that they used to be a part of the game and no longer are, or do we, through massive social media influence, try to get these things reinstated into the game?
That one.
And I'll be honest, listeners, I'm kind of running out of ideas here. I think we can still have some fun with this one, but this is well, now that my leg has feeling in it, I'll be right back. I got to do something.
I would. So while we have this break, just because I don't know that anybody actually listens to this podcast, if someone leaves us a review and actually writes words in their review, I will buy you something worth $20 or less that is your themed of your favorite team.
You heard it here first, folks. I will jump on that bandwagon. Another $20.
I will get on and write a review and have you guys send me Brave stuff.
Nope.
Crap. We didn't think this one through.
Yeah, there's
Loophole.
we're gonna do the really quick talking at the end where you can't be part of the podcast if you want to get the prize.
You can't be part of the podcast if you want to get the prize.
Yeah. Oh my
there
God.
He is.
I don't.
Okay. Eskimo Joe in the house.
Okay, well, I searched my house and I didn't have the best accessories for this, but
do you know how to tie a tie?
Yep. YouTube, how do you tie a tie? It's pretty good though. That's a.
So what kind of knot?
Is that a half Windsor?
That's a third Windsor.
Yeah.
It's an octa Windsor. So I kind of got this idea. This is like I said, I mean, it's definitely a culture change as much as it is a baseball change. But as we were touring the Negro League Museum, Enunciation, one thing that I remember reading there was how big of a deal that the baseball games was for those fans. And everybody would dress like to the absolute max, as in suit, tie, dress, everything. And they had pictures there of it. And if you look at any like black and white video of a baseball game back in the day, and really just out on the streets in general, you know, we saw different attire. So my as I'm here in a very nice suit jacket, perfectly tied tie.
You lost me with the hat.
Yeah, I mean, does it look dressy or does it just look like I'm hunting?
The second one.
It looks like not dressy.
Looks like you're hunting a dressy man.
Well, I couldn't find my top hat. Anyway, what do we all think about making baseball games a little more non-casual? You know, you go to games today and it's, I mean, you see people without clothes. So
sorry.
So I'm going to pass this over to Jay Lee. He's our neighborhood fashionista. So yeah, let's beat this topic up a little bit. What do you think, Jay Lee?
I guess my first question is like, it was back then. It was almost a status symbol, right? Like people who could go to the games were people who like had money, correct or no? Does anybody know?
I'm gonna say I don't know.
A lot of people just dressed in suits in general, dressed different.
I'm torn. I really am, because like style is important to me. And man, if I could rock a solid suit every single day, I would do that. But not where I work.
It's a red suit.
And yeah, I guess I could get a red suit. You're right. But I don't know. I this is the first one I'm probably torn on that you gave me, Joe, because the suit thing I think is pretty awesome, but I do like people showing their own sense of style. So I guess that's kind of where I'm torn on the appreciate or reinstate. So is this the first time where I could choose the or? Like I can appreciate, but also let's reinstate.
I think you need to clarify your more appreciate side. Like what if you're not suiting up to the max, what are you rolling into a stadium with?
I mean, I think we nailed it. Like some people come up with no clothes at all. Some people are painting their face and have all the gear on.
Some people are wearing Cardinals gear.
Hey, that hurts. That hurts. So I think that's what I mean by appreciate. Like appreciate the fact that everyone has a different sense of style and what they think is fashionable. And I think I like to see that come out in, I think, any sporting event. You can go to any, I mean, more or less in football games. Like you're going to see the Bills Mafia jumping from the top of the building into a crowd of people that aren't wearing clothes already.
It's also negative 20 degrees.
Yeah, crazies. But I think that's where I stand. I'm gonna say appreciate, but also reinstate. So I'm with you on the dress into the nines piece, because like that'd be dope. Or maybe it's like a special occasion, like dress to the nines night, and you have everybody Like dress up. Sorry, dude. If I just stole your thunder.
He did.
Stole Courtney's idea.
I was going to combine the last one. This would be a sweet promo night. Like 20s night at the ballpark or something like that. Combine the last two.
Where I could be is like you see all these suits that are like have awesome patterns on it. So that'd be kind of cool. Like your team's pattern. That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyway, that's my rant, Corey.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to take into consideration the temperature that some of these games are played at. Because if it's
sweat it out.
100 degrees outside and the sun
wool, baby,
is on your face, I've worn a wool suit before.
Don't you think they were doing that back in the day?
It was like 80. No, I imagine they were warm. I'm just not going to sit in 3 layers when it's 100 degrees and there's no shade. Like, this would maybe make sense to me for like hockey games, but or like early season or late season games. So maybe the promo night is a thing.
Well, it sounds like maybe you're a fair weather fan.
But I'm just not going to wear a shirt if it's hot. I'm just kidding. I don't have that confidence in myself. I will have some sort of shirt on, but it'll be a lighter shirt. Maybe a nice athletic fit. But
comfort over looks.
Minimal layers, yeah. But again, if it is, if it's a 60-degree day, suit up, baby. So I think I'm more concerned about the weather. So I mean, I would take either or too. This is a very, very kind of, right down the middle here.
I'll allow it.
I say appreciate it for old-timey baseball games, but let's reinstate it for men in general, that we dress nicer.
Yeah, you guys need to start dressing nicer.
I know, as I'm doing a pod in Dunder Mifflin. But yeah, I'd say let's do the promo night. Suit and tie night. You have a zoot suit night. I don't know. You have some fun with it, but
it'd be cool if they did it with the players too, like those old trashy gloves, bats, uniforms,
shorts, and collars.
No, no,
what?
None of that.
Yeah, I was actually listening to a podcast today that's not related to sports at all, but it was talking about just how like much more casual things have gotten as a whole. Like business casual now includes jeans. Like you pretty much anytime you walk in any sort of business, like you can see somebody wearing jeans, and it's just not something that happened years ago. So yeah, I mean, I'm up for. I actually just got some clothes in the mail today. I'm pretty excited about. Ready to rock those. So,
I borrow them.
Yeah, if you
got to remember, Corey's 4'1", 62 pounds.
That's right. That's true. I forgot.
If you need a sleeve for a sweater vest, you can have one of my shirts.
I need the first time we mentioned Corey's weight and height on this podcast. I think it's just gone down every time we've been.
It has. That's the smallest he's been so far.
That's going to be the last time he's in the 4 foots.
All righty. So that's a good topic. Well, thanks, Joe.
Yeah, listeners, guys, anybody here, if you have any ideas, definitely feel free to float them our way. Might be the last appreciate or reinstate for a while. We
let us know if you appreciate or reinstate, appreciate and reinstate, so we know what to do next year.
Or in your written review, leave us ideas.
Yes, please write a review. We would appreciate it.
And Corey and Jared will pay $20.
$20.
Well, maybe if we get 2 people, then we each send them a thing, or maybe we figure out T-shirts sometime, and we'll send you a T-shirt. I don't know if that. We'll figure. You'll get something from us. If not, I'll buy you a T-shirt.
Whether you like it or not.
I will draw our logo to the best of my ability on the T-shirt with a Sharpie, and it'll be one of a kind.
All righty. So as we close out this pod,
I gotta take this stuff off.
Oh my gosh, my headset just beeped. I thought I'd watch it. As we close out this pod and we get ready for the World Series, quickly approaching. Wild card round is first, obviously. So we're going to have some fun with this. We're taking our weekend predictions. First place is me. Second place was Corey. Third place was Joe. And last but not least, maybe least, was Jared in his weekend predictions. And so we're going to take that order, first through fourth, do a snake draft of the playoff teams to select who we think is going to be the World Series champ. So at the end of it, each of us will have 3 teams on our roster. If one of our teams wins the World Series, we get to be the first ever Rake position champion.
Yep.
Yes,
Sorry.
Jared.
See, I got the wrong memo. So someone sent me the wrong memo. I tanked to try to get the first pick. I thought that's what was happening here. So
You got the
That's
wrap.
fair.
That's pretty good.
No, in our CBA, we put anti-taking language in there. Yeah, so my bad. I wrote it. Sorry. Left it on the secretary's desk.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's why I didn't get it. Yep.
Yeah,
All right.
my bad.
That makes sense.
All right, so I get the first pick, and to no one's surprise, we'll keep it short and sweet. I guess, Corey, you keep track of this.
Yeah.
I am picking the Atlanta Braves, the unanimous best team in all of baseball. Favorites, yada, yada, yada.
That's a solid
Acuna.
pick.
Go
Yeah.
Braves.
All right. Well, hold on. Roger Goodell's coming to the podium.
You're Roger Goodell?
Hey, Roger.
Boo. Boo.
With the second pick.
It's also the wrong sport, Roger Goodell.
Rake your position.
Boo.
No, he's the commissioner of the Rake Your Position League.
Oh, that sucks.
He moonlights.
to do something
Our
different.
budget just went up, dude.
Yeah. Well, he does it pro bono. It's how he gets a tax break. Anyway, with the second pick in the Rake Your Position World Series draft, Corey the Statman selects the Houston Astros.
Nice.
Oh, gross, dude.
Oh, that means there's a sleeper down there for you guys in the last round. Get a steal a draft. All right.
Well. Oh, he's got to pick Baltimore. They're the other number 1 seed, and they won 100 games.
We knew you would be the longest person to make a pick.
Yeah, I texted you at 8:00 this draft order this morning.
You've had only 10 other teams.
13
hours. I was
hours.
picking the Braves.
So we're just how much time do we have on the clock?
You're at 0.
All right, Jared, your pick.
All right, Philadelphia. That's my pick.
No.
Oh
Is
my
that who you're
God.
going to take? You're decked out in Orioles gear. I left him for you.
Oh my goodness,
Joe,
just
I
traded
have
up.
back-to-back picks.
Joe just traded up to take the Phillies.
Fine,
I didn't trade up. I stayed in my spot.
I haven't seen this since Trubisky.
Yeah, can we trade? Can we trade picks?
No, just go.
All right,
No,
Jared.
I'm not picking
What are you
that.
gonna
I'll
do,
tell you what.
Jared?
I'll trade you the Astros. You give me the 4th, 5th, and the 12th.
And next year's pick.
We trading next year's picks, huh?
My second pick next year.
That's fair. All right, first pick, Baltimore. Lock it up.
All right. It's locked
shoot,
up.
I got to think
And
another
Jared,
pick.
you're up again.
Oh crap. Man, the fact that this team fell to me. You
It's
guys,
an obvious pick here, guys. Come on.
you guys are a bunch of jokes. Give me the Dodgers.
Yeah, okay. That was the correct answer.
Tampa Bay.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Cody. That pick's for you, bud.
Oh, that's the fastest Joe's ever made a pick.
Yeah.
What'd you pick? I didn't hear it.
He said Tampa.
I'm going to take, with the 7th pick in the first Rake Your Position World Series draft, the Toronto Blue Jays.
I was torn because I wanted to pick them. I thought I would get them at 8, but then I picked the Twins to beat them. I forget who else is in there.
Yeah.
I'm
Hopefully
going Minnesota.
Hopefully your
Really?
first team pans out for you there, huh?
Well, you're on the clock again.
Oh, and then I'll go.
You better take him.
Miami.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Horrible.
Skip, baby. Skip Schumacher. Come on.
Marlins.
Who's up now?
And Minnesota. I am. With the 10th pick, I will take the Texas Rangers. Yeah, you can boo me all you want.
I mean, that's
Joe.
the best of the 3 of them left. Wait, so who do we have left?
The Brewers
Milwaukee
and the Diamondbacks, the 2 teams that you thought were the worst.
The 2 teams that I said were both jokes.
Yes.
I'll go with the youth of the Diamondbacks.
You
picked
no
Milwaukee.
You
to
picked
beat
the
them.
Brewers
Don't
to
care.
win the series.
This is a flyer, dude. This is like that Mr. Irrelevant. You just take a guy that might be good.
Okay, so Jared, that means you.
Nope, I'm making my pick, and I pick Milwaukee.
Okay, good. Thank you.
He didn't get stuck with them. He chooses them.
Yes. As a recap here, we've got first overall the Braves, second Astros, Phillies, Orioles, Dodgers, Rays, Blue Jays, Twins, Marlins, Rangers, Diamondbacks, Brewers. And if you want to know who picked them, just go back and listen again.
I've got Braves, Twins, Marlins. Corey's got Astros, Blue Jays, Rangers. Joe's got Philly,
Rays,
and Arizona.
D-backs. What is happening in the document?
Jared's got Dodgers, Orioles, and Milwaukee.
Dude, Dodgers Orioles 1-2 is good.
It pays to be last sometimes.
Yeah. It doesn't matter because the Braves are going to win it also. It doesn't matter.
They ain't. First round exit.
They're not even the first round. They get skipped the first round.
You know what? No matter what, if the Brewers or the Diamondbacks win, Joe wins. So that was the whole plan.
Yeah, he just now realized that.
He's doing the long con.
Is there any stupid rules for the DS or the CS that I should have known about before with all these picks?
They get rid of the runner in extra innings.
Yeah.
Does one team get home every game plus one player from another team throughout the season?
These rules have been around for last year also, Joe.
4 years now.
Yeah.
Well, 3 years after COVID. COVID was different, more teams.
Is there an and to that statement?
Cardinals haven't made it past the first round, Joe.
Or a so to that statement? 11 rings.
Yeah, 11 rings. What Joe said.
Did you say leavening? Are you guys baking bread?
I can't even. I mean, I got 2 hands. I can't even put them all on.
I'll just give you an extra finger there. All right. So I think that concludes our first ever postseason episode of Rake Your Position. We plan to be back as soon as the wild card round is over. So look for another episode to drop to kick off the divisional series round as the Braves start their march to the finish line. Right? All right. Until next time, don't forget to
Go Blackhawks.
Rake.
Wow.
Rake.
Wow.
Your
Position.
Don't bring hockey into this. Don't bring hockey into this.
Rake your position when you're raking your position.
Okay.